posting an update. I've been in my treehouse a little over an hour. I've spent the majority of that time doing guided meditations. The first one was breath work. It got me from like a 10 to a 9. And then the second one was an overstimulation meditation where I was guided through checking in with all 5 of my senses and then turning the volume knob down on each one. And the third one was yoga nidra, which was like 30 minutes long. And I think overall I went from like if a 0 is like, I don't know what no anxiety feels like, maybe like ecstasy, like complete ease and comfort and like being totally unbothered. And a 10 is like off the charts, but on the charts. It's a scale of 1 to 10. I would say I'm now maybe at like a 6. I was gonna say 5, but the more that I've been back outside of my cocoon, still feeling like, okay, I'm ready for the time to pass. It's kind of funny because I was at a coffee shop earlier and I could have been there all day. I love being at coffee shops. I was writing, and then I got here and I'm like, what the fuck? Kinda wish I had my keyboard, kinda wish I had my laptop, just because I have a writing project I really want to work on, but I don't feel like ergonomically I have the right setup to like pour out pages of handwriting. I also was like, maybe I'll go to sleep and I could just sleep. Maybe when it's dark it'll be better? Question mark? This is like so, I keep wanting to fast forward to the future when I can tell people about this, about how it's funny, how scared I was. But I'm here right now and I'm scared. Trying to think what I'm scared of. I mean, you know, bugs. Every little tickle on my body hair, like the one that just happened on my knuckle, I'm like, oh my god, what is that? So I'm scared of bugs, for sure. But when I think through that, I'm like, okay, am I actually that scared of bugs? Like, what is gonna happen? I mean, besides like getting bit or getting sick, that's not really the problem. I don't even want to go into the outhouse because I just don't want to be surprised by a bug. Maybe I just need to like accept that I'm going to be surprised by my sensory experience. I'm feeling a little better now since I've been blasting this AC unit, but I also am afraid, like, not afraid of, but like, I'm uncomfortable with like how sticky I feel. I would really love to take a shower. I can't. But you know, I like drove in the car all day and got out at a couple rest stops. I was actually having like an amazing, perfect day. And it only really got downhill when I was like 8 miles away from here. Ironically, I was uphill. I was on the side of the mountain. Actually, it was as soon as I started ascending the mountain, like curvy roads. I was driving and there was a truck behind me, so that was stressing me out because I was just thinking about how I bet that person wishes I was going faster. But then like all these seriously twisty turns were like you needed to go 20 miles an hour according to the signs, and also just like safety, because they were like, what is it called? Needle point turns sometimes. Just like a 2-lane road. And then, so like, yeah, so there was that truck behind me, and then I finally got up to, we both did, me and the truck behind me, got up to like the side of the mountain. And I had at that point turned off my air conditioner because I felt like it was like affecting my gas, like jolt in my car. And I had the windows down and I wasn't listening to music. I was just like aware of, driving safety. But as soon as like there were big drop-offs, I was like, oh my God. And I started talking to myself a lot, much like I'm doing now, but I wasn't recording. And yeah, I was having intrusive thoughts, and then I was like, oh my God, this is scary. Oh my God. At every turn, you just like don't know if there's going to be a car or a deer or a rock or what is going to be there. And then I got to an outlook point. Well, there were two really close to each other, and I knew that. So the first one, there was one car there, and I was like, okay, I know that's there. I can come back to it, but I'm going to go check out the other one. So I went to check out the other one, and there was no one there. And there was like a spot of shade on a hill, but I was like, perfect. So I back in, I'm feeling safe, put my quilt out in the shade, and like got a little like kind of snack. I was like, we're gonna have a snack. Put my snack down, and I was on the ground for maybe 2 minutes. I ate 2 or 3 crackers with my hummus. There were all these little gnats, like little flies everywhere. And I kept doing this, and they were like coming at me, and I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, never mind, pack up, let's go. Like, and at one point I actually was able to kind of unfocus my vision and see it was just a swarm, like a cloud of gnats. Like I must have just sat down in a gnat nest. Like they must live in that space. I don't know how gnats work. Gnat communities. But yeah, and then, so I swung back by the other one, and I was like, oh, this is a little more comfortable. There were 2 other cars there. I couldn't see the first one initially, but I pulled up behind this minivan. It's just like one person seating outside it. And I was like, we're in the shade. I was like, cool. This is a little more spacious. And I was thinking, I'm not going to get on the ground with the gnats, but like, it just felt, it was like, okay, maybe this will be better. And before I even got out of my car, I noticed that the first truck had Trump shit all over it. I mean, it was like this huge banner, and there was a person sitting outside of their truck on a chair. And at first, I almost didn't even get out of the car. I think I actually like put my car back into drive and was like, I'm just gonna leave. And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, no, like, don't let this ruin my opportunity to like look at the Blue Ridge Mountains. Because I like fast forwarded, like, what would it be like for me to be like, well, yeah, I got to a good view, and then I like didn't even get to see it or whatever. I don't, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a picture. So I didn't even fully get out of my car. I didn't turn it off. I just stood up with my car like half open, and I took some pictures and videos, and then I left, and I was like, okay. So it was like a 17-minute, according to Google, but it took longer than that, like 8-ish mile drive to get from there down to the place where I'm staying. And on the way in, I had actually kind of forgotten about that truck a little bit, and then I kept seeing Trump signs. I also saw a huge Confederate flag today, and I know I'm in Virginia, like, I know I'm on Earth, I know there are people we think that is a good idea. But it was upsetting, and so then at that point I was trying to listen to music. I turned it off so I could talk out loud again and just process through, like, I'm not gonna let this ruin my trip. I'm not gonna let this ruin my trip. I'm not gonna let the awareness of something that I already know is happening, just people supporting Trump in general, still, like, throw off my whole shit. But maybe now that I'm here processing all this, maybe that really did bother me quite a bit. Because then as I started, like, getting into closer towards the property where I'm staying, my last, like, mile or two were on, like, a gravel road, and there are actually quite a few properties in here that, like, houses and mailboxes and cars and dwellings, and I was like, oh my god, who are these people, and is somebody, like, watching me? And then I was like, okay, I'm not even afraid of, like, I'm not even afraid of, like, being murdered. Like, yes, that's, like, an intrusive thought I have. I've never seen anyone be murdered, but, like, I've seen, you know, movies, news footage, stories, whatever. I have visuals of what that can look like. I'm like, okay, if I get murdered, like, actually I said this out loud. I said, it's okay. If I get murdered, people will riot. It's kind of funny because I'm like, really? I have had a good life. And then I was like, oh no, there's some suicidal ideation creeping in. And then I was like, you know, this is all out loud. That's a well-developed neural pathway. That does not mean that I'm feeling suicidal. I also had this talk with myself when I was on the side of the mountain thinking, like, what if my car went down the ravine? And then I was like, you know what, Parker? If that happens, it's okay. It is actually okay. So, like, the worst thing that could happen to me out here, I don't know, whatever. Maybe it would be to get murdered or to be attacked or to be, like, hate crimed or stalked or something, or like a bear. I wouldn't love to see a bear. Are there bears here? I don't know. I didn't do that research. Or to have, like, a bug get in my clothes, like to have a panic attack. But it's like, okay, if I'm actually not even afraid of losing my life, like, what is it that I'm so uncomfortable with here? And it's not being alone. I've been enjoying being alone in my apartment, in my car, out in the world, a lot of other places. Mountains are weird. Mountains are weird. Yeah, okay. Well, that's 13 minutes on that. I don't mind that I don't have cell phone service. If I wanted, I could connect to the internet, actually, at the host's property and have Wi-Fi and, like, communicate with people, but that's not why, you know, that I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't know what I need. I ate dinner. I had leftovers. I forgot to bring a utensil for my Thai food leftovers, so I ate my curry using a cracker as a spoon and drink curry sauce. That was fine. I still keep envisioning myself walking outside and being like, ah, delightful. But I can't really imagine that being nice until sunrise. And I think that is because when the sun rises, first of all, I love mornings. It'll be cooler, it'll be magical. I will have survived the night. And also that I can, like, leave immediately if I want to. Right now, even though I technically can leave, I mean, I can, I know that I can. I will either have to drive all the way home or find another place to stay, which are both things I can do and have the resources to do and the means to do. But why? Why do I want to leave so bad? But yeah, I mean, I did what I know to do, which is like used some tools, grounded, I'm regulating. I turn on some comfort music. I'm talking to myself, which helps me a lot. I think like putting it on video is like some extra level of accountability. It's also kind of funny to watch back later and like just kind of get to know myself a little bit more. It's just so interesting because I really do like a lot of things about being in nature and being outside. I love going to the park in a city. I can go to any park in any city with any amount of traffic or people, passersby, all kinds of sensory stimulation, and I can be sweaty. I don't know, but I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. At the lawn, at the VMFA, every time I go there, it's like there's nowhere else in the world or something. Part of it is because it's manicured, I believe, that the lawns are kept up. I don't know. I don't know if I'm meant for the wilderness. I keep thinking about if I'm in some kind of post-apocalyptic, well, I guess it wouldn't be post, well, yeah, the apocalypse, you know. I envision this happening in my life a lot. I try not to be too doomsday, but I'm like, okay, it's like fairly possible that something really bad will happen at some point. And I think in a lot of ways I will thrive. I do think it will be a major adjustment to be one with the bug kingdom and with a sensory experience of not being able to shower and have fresh water whenever I need to. I mean, hugely privileged. I was going to say millions. Are there billions of people that don't have access to those things right now? I don't know the numbers. 6 billion people on Earth. I have no idea. But I do prefer an urban dwelling. I do prefer an urban setting. I like densely populated with pockets of, space, but it freaks me out to be out here. It just does. Keep looking around. Keep looking out the windows. 18 minutes, my God. I could talk until the sun rises. I could talk for hours. I probably will talk a lot. Especially since I've been on tea, since my voice is lower and it like resonates in my chest. There's like a vibration. It's actually very grounding. And of course, verbal processing is supportive to my neurodivergent brain. Especially when like no one can actually hear me real time. I still do sometimes pause and try to reconfigure my words, but mostly I'm just like, I'm not actually being perceived right now. I'm just here, I guess. Okay. I have a book that I was excited to read. I have a book, I have music, I have my yoga mat, I have a journal, I have a sketchbook. Oh, maybe I'm gonna draw. Yeah, so far none of those other things sounded like right now are a good time for me. So maybe the sketchbook. I can dance. I might end up dancing. I can go back outside. I will go back outside. I am really scared of the ticks. When I got here, the host greeted me in my car before I walked around the corner to come to the treehouse. And her immediately, she was like, this is gonna sound kind of weird. And then she had her hand like this, and she came up to me and said, but, and she showed me, this is a tick. Okay, I mean, thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Honestly, it's good to know what they look like. I wasn't gonna Google that. I've always kind of wondered, even though I've seen pictures at some point. But good to see you, the size and everything. But she told me something specific about them that I didn't quite understand about. That they bite you and then they move next to that or something. They can bite you 6 or 8 times. She's like, you don't want to get bit by these ticks. And I was actually just about to put bug spray on. I had like my trunk open and my bug spray bottle in my hand when she walked up. I don't usually use bug spray because I don't get mosquito bites, but I figured it would be a good idea. So not only am I sticky because of sweat, I am sticky because of bug spray, which I then put even more on when I got into the treehouse. I took off all my clothes and put bug spray all over me. I mean, there are cracks everywhere. I don't want to say everywhere, that's not true, but like in the air conditioning unit, they don't have it they don't have all the gaps filled, so I put a t-shirt underneath it. I am afraid of that about the evening, of just being able to relax in the pitch black with my mind envisioning things coming in the windows. I regret not bringing a candle. I was gonna, and then I thought, you know, Parker, what if you burn down the treehouse? Don't do that. But I regret that very much. I regret not bringing my room spray. I think a comforting smell would have been helpful. But I do have my deodorant, which is a scent I'm familiar with. I smell it right now. That was helpful. I'm just like, tick tock. I just want it to be morning. And that is not why I came here. I came here to enjoy myself. But I don't want to sit in the hammock. I imagined myself, I love hammocking. No. It looks like it has things on it and things in it. And it's right next to the outhouse, which had things on it and things in it. Sticks, twigs, dirt, bugs, mystery. I could wipe it off, but I'm not gonna leave. I said that because my brain reminded me again that I can. It really does sound nice to just leave and go to a hotel. Okay. What would my highest self do? If I could wave a magic wand and this current version of me, 34 years old, adult Parker, is still here, what would I want that to look like? Well, I would want it to look like where I'm not feeling this way, but I can't change that. Okay, and, you know, maybe this is what's supposed to be happening. Like, I meditated, I'm talking to myself, those are both things I love to do. I'm learning about myself, I am off the grid, I am safe, I'm pretty sure. I am. I'm not safe from bugs. But even if there's a bear, I am safe from the bear, I think. Until I go to the bathroom. Okay. I also kind of wish I could watch a movie which makes me feel silly, but is true. But I don't have movies downloaded on my phone. I'm sure I would be really anxious with that. Maybe I'll be able to get into my book. I just really thought I was going to be writing, but I feel like I have so... Okay, but yeah, just, okay, I'm fine. Right now, I am fine. I'm fine. I could go for a walk. If I get bit by ticks, that is actually also okay, I think. I don't actually, I don't know. Can you die from tick bites? That's the thing. I know going on a walk would be good for me. That's always something that helps. But I'm afraid of the air. Oh my god. I don't even... It's something about summer too. Like I think if it was fall and things were a little bit more dead, I would know that there were less bugs. But right now I'm like, bugs are thriving. They are having, this is the time. Like, I don't know when peak bug existence is, but like, even if it's not the peak, there's a lot of them. More than I care to know about. Why did Ronnie show me that tick? Why do people have Trump signs out? Why did I sit in a cloud of gnats?